Hi, this is Michael Adams for CEO Roaster and Stock-Telegraph, and I'm at the PDAC actually in Toronto, the world's biggest mining show, and today I have the pleasure to talk to two representatives, actually Sam and John from Global Lion Graphite, and I bumped into them yesterday. They hosted a reception, which was fairly well attended, and I didn't, because it was so busy, I didn't have the chance to talk to them, so I figured out it's better to invite them again for a video interview. So first of all, thanks for taking the time to talk to me out of your busy day, and maybe to start off, just introduce yourself. What's your background?
All right, my name is John Roozendaal. I'm as has been announced, I'm a geologist. That's my background in training, and I basically founded a number of companies over the years. Most recently was VMS Ventures, which discovered a copper mine in Manitoba and is in production today. And now I'm with Global Lion.
Okay, great. Sam, how about you?
So, Sam Malin, I'm a geological engineer. I've worked in Madagascar for about 25 years. I've founded a number of companies, particularly focused on that country, Madagascar Oil, Red Island Minerals, a company called i.V.m. Part of that has involved identifying and acquiring some graphite mines, which are now part of Global Lion.
Right, yes. So you have kind of discovered or acquired the graphite project in Madagascar, which is one of the main projects of Global Lion.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, I discovered that it was available. I mean, it had been discovered about 100 years ago, so not quite that old. But no, that's exactly right. So I managed to get control, if you like, of these graphite mines, and we've now managed to get them within Global Lion as one of Global Lion's key projects. Okay.
And John, so you are responsible for the North American side?
That's correct, yeah. My background is in Manitoba particularly, but across North America and Nevada. And so we have a project in Manitoba called Neuron, which we optioned late last year from Callinex Mines. And they discovered a very high-grade graphite deposit just outside the city of Thompson. And our second project in North America is at just outside Carson City, Nevada, which is very close to Elon Musk's Gigafactory. Right. So it's another graphite deposit. Brand new, if you will. It's an old occurrence, never been drilled before, and we just finished our first 4 holes, and news to come. Okay.
And just to remind everybody, everybody's talking about Tesla and the Gigafactory, and especially about lithium, and then for the last couple of months was cobalt, but I think the biggest part of a battery is actually graphite, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, depending on the exact kind of battery, it can be anything from 10 to 30 times more graphite than there is lithium. So they really should be called, I think Elon Musk said this, they should be called graphite nickel batteries, not lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, true. And so are you, of course, you probably can't tell me, but are you already in any talks to some of the battery manufacturers? For off-take agreements or something like that? Or how far are we before some major developments within the project in North America come on the table?
Well, as you know, we're reasonably early stage with some reasonably advanced projects because there's a lot of history behind them. And of course, the main project or challenge, I should say, with a company like ours is you have to raise the money, and that's becoming a really more common conversation we're having. I'll say that much, where companies are very interested in acquiring offtake of this product because they foresee the demand down the road in exchange for helping finance this. But I won't get into any details that aren't in the public market. But these are conversations that are certainly coming our way. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Because I'm aware of some lithium companies, and they get some funding by big Chinese producers, right? For Ganfeng, one of the big, just for them to secure their access to lithium. So, and I was just curious if that's kind of the same situation in the graphite sector.
Sam, maybe I'll add some more color to that, given this project's a little more advanced.
Okay. So you will be in production first?
Very likely, yes. I mean, the mines produced at a declining level for historic reasons, not because they're running out of graphite, until about 2010. Okay. So the process to get those back into production is fairly straightforward, and we should be able to produce in the reasonably near term. And of course, Madagascar is on the western edge of the Indian Ocean, which means, to China, and also let's not forget India, because India, for example, like China, has an aggressive policy of moving towards electric vehicles. I think all vehicles made and sold in India must be electric by 2030. I think that's the year. So, watch this space in terms of offtake agreements. I mean, the demand is building quickly.
Okay. Think about it, it's taken 100 years to get to the number of motorized vehicles on this planet we have today. And as Sam just pointed out, between India and China, I believe their policy is a minimum 10% by 2019 and 20% by 2020, I believe it is going to be mandated electric. So there's a tremendous potential growth here in this space to replace all those power plants, and a lot of infrastructure is going to be going around the world, and that requires raw materials. So this is part of the reason I really became interested in the company. Although I was a early seed shareholder and a director, I've been a director for a while, but seeing the growth in this space really got me excited. And
okay, yeah, and if I'm right, yeah, the anticipation of the analysts or the market is that for batteries, the biggest market won't be the electronic vehicles, but it will be home storage.
Right. That I've heard that as well. That's right when you think about it, and and then the secondary component of the graphite question is graphene. This fantastic, really, it's a absolutely fundamental change in our technology of materials, and it's really was discovered in 2006, I believe. And so it's new, but yet we're far enough along now. The applications are starting to, and they're just wild. Every day, new inventions are coming on that are using this material.
Right, and as you remember, we had a kind of a pre-talk before this interview, and I was mentioning that a couple of years back, and you said it was probably like 4 years back, there was always already like something like Graphite 1.0, right? And it was all focused about graphene when it was probably discovered, or some new applications have been discovered, and but then everything dried up, and now you think that it's a time that graphene will be, let's say, reality?
That's what I believe. I know there's still research going on from what I've read about it, and they're trying other materials, but just the fundamental properties of carbon and its availability in that form, and its strength and weight are unsurpassed. We have another material like it at this point. And yeah, and I do think, I think the trend is that these things tend to, when they're invented, there's an initial excitement, and then there's a time goes by, and then you have a second round. And I think we've seen that through the history of industrialization, where almost, I don't know if it grows geometrically, but it feels that way. And I suspect that's what's going to happen, whether it be the motor vehicle with the power plants or the residences, or changing the way we use materials like graphene to replace steel and other materials, and making things 10 times stronger and 10 times lighter. Like it's going to open a lot of doors.
And am I right? Global Line has a partnership with a company that is kind of dealing with graphene. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can speak a little bit to that. And that's one of the things we identified early on. Was it's one thing to find the source product. It's quite another to get it into the form of graphene, which is, I want to get into the technicalities of it, but that's another part of the cost structure of any mining operation, if you will, or any new product. So we've invested in a company called, I think BIGO is an acronym for it. And really what they're looking at is they've designed a process whereby they use, and are testing microbiology, microorganisms to basically consume graphite and then basically the end product being graphene. So it's if you think about letting nature basically give you your graphene is a fantastic opportunity. So we thought that was a great space to get into. So we have a relationship with a company that's working towards that goal.
So Sam, give us kind of a wrap up for the rest of 2018. So what would be the next steps on the project that you want to achieve?
Well, as I say, the mines in Madagascar, the mines in Madagascar have produced historically. They're currently, mothballed is probably not quite the correct word. They're temporarily suspending production. In order to get them back into production, there's some work which needs to be done on improving infrastructure. One of the issues in Madagascar is always infrastructure. So the roads need to be graded, some bridges need to be strengthened. But the other aspect which needs to be dealt with is some environmental work. So we have to make sure that we've done the environmental studies in advance to have a look at the impact environmentally, and also to show how we're going to allay any negative impact that we might be conceived to have. And this is something we take very seriously. So the net effect of what we will do from an environmental perspective will be positive. That is likely to take, those two stages are likely to take 6 to 9 months. I think the other point is it's important, and we're required to produce a mining plan. The government wants to know what we're going to be doing, and that's actually key also from the environmental side, because we can't talk about the impact on the environment and what we're going to do to offset or overcome that without talking about exactly what we're doing from the mining perspective. The other constraint in Madagascar is there is a rainy season. Okay. So from November to March, rivers that are normally 6 inches deep are suddenly massive flowing torrents. So this doesn't mean that the project has to stop, but it's something that we have to work around in terms of our planning.
Okay.
There's certainly some ongoing large mines operating not even that far from us.
Actually, that's a very good point, John. I mean, one of the largest nickel mines, which is the Sheret Samba Tovi mine, is just to the southwest of where we are. So that's a very good point.
Okay, good. Last question from my end. How about any further acquisitions? So are you actively looking to acquire new projects?
I mean, you never say never in this business, but we really do have a really solid framework of which we're building the company on. And we're at several stages, and we're very well geographically diverse, if you will. We're in Africa, we're in North America, in 2 places. So I believe, from our perspective, really, we want to really advance these projects as quickly as we can, certainly get Sam's project up and going, get it commercial, and see just how quickly we can get the other 2 projects commercial. I think at that point, if an outright opportunity comes along, great, but we don't want to overburden ourselves and miss the opportunity to really advance this company as quickly as possible. So that would be my comment. Okay. You can bet there's opportunities out there, and we'll look at them, but really we want to keep a focus on what we're doing.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. So, guys, thank you very much for taking the time. I will link the website and also the company's very good social media channel. So I'm going to link that around that video somewhere, so that you can subscribe to their newsletter, get the presentation, which is available on the website. And yeah, just my 2 cents. I know those guys for quite some time, so I think they are on the right track. I think the company has a really good chance to, as Sam said, to be one of the next graphite mines. And the global demand for graphite, you can look at every research, it will increase with all the trends that we've talked about. So my 2 cents would be just check out the website and put the company trading on the CSE as Lion, by the way. Put the company on your watch list. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for taking the time with us, Michael.
You're welcome. Thank you.